then I ask that, I mean, not that I'm looking at any of you on here, but I would kindly ask if you don't want to be recorded, that you exit the meeting, because I do want to make this resource available for people. So the way that we do this is, for the first 30 minutes, I talk and I deliver a practice. And then in the last 15 minutes, I'm available to answer questions for all of you and provide whatever guidance that I'm capable of providing. And so until that time, I do ask that you remain on mute. Otherwise, it will probably impact other people's ability to hear. If you want to have the gallery view and see loads of people breathing with you, you can keep that. If you want to just see me so that it's clearer for you to focus on one person, in the upper right-hand corner, there is something, if you toggle over, that's a speaker view, and you can click on that, and then I will be at the front of the page, and there'll be a few people across. It's up to you, whatever works better. Now, I want to start by saying this is a talk and a practice around yoga or breathing techniques specifically for anxiety. That being said, I have been asked so many questions recently about breathing techniques for COVID-19, and around this video that has been circulating to doctors and even made its way into the Express about a way of breathing to help recruit more air sacs and keep them open, or alveoli, as a way to breathe in advance of potentially coming down with COVID-19, and as a way to breathe if you are not in a place where you need to be hospitalized, to help and support yourself. And if that video is valuable, and what you should do. So I want to start by saying that I am not a doctor and I am not offering medical advice. I do have a background in respiratory physiology, and I have spoken to physicians about it. So if you do have any respiratory distress right now, you might consider, I'm just going to show you this first, to actually lie prone, which means on your belly, and you can breathe here, inhaling, and when you exhale, you can do so through pursed lips, meaning like this. The reason you do that is when you have problems with breathing as a result of COVID-19, there's kind of a collapse in the alveoli, and you need to keep pressure high within the lungs, even on the exhalation. And as you exhale through your mouth, slowly with control, you are keeping that pressure high. And the prone position is considered to be useful because you actually have more lung tissue towards the interior part of your body rather than right in front of the anterior part. And when you lie flat and breathe in that way, the pressure then is applied to the base of the lungs. And it is recommended that even if you are absolutely fine right now, because many of us are at risk, that you begin breathing that way for a few minutes each day. It certainly can't hurt. It is healthy for your alveoli. So I just wanted to provide that information because I've been getting texts from doctors, from students, all asking me information in this regard. This does not mean it's going to prevent you from getting the virus. It is not a substitute for hospital care or seeking advice from your physician, but it should help with recruiting more of the alveoli. Now, breathing for anxiety. This is a tough time for all of us. And even before COVID-19, anxiety disorders superseded or exceeded depression as the most prevalent mental health disorders in the world. So we're anxious. The speed of life is fast, although it has slowed down right now. We are afraid, many of us, for our health, for our loved ones, for our economic futures. But we can do something to curb that anxiety, both before and now. And I have to say that because as a world, as a species, since we are prone to anxiety, it is really important and useful to learn techniques to help manage it, because we're all susceptible to it. And it is actually a good thing to have the opportunity to face enough anxiety that you want to do something about it. Because moment by moment, your brain is picking up messages from your lungs about how you breathe and oxygen and carbon dioxide levels to assess what needs to be changed in terms of your manner of breathing, or what kind of information it is extrapolating in relationship to your state. We can shift how we are feeling almost automatically through breathing. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that together. We're going to start with a very basic technique, which I have taught in the other seminar series that I offered. And then we're going to add another piece to it. So always, I suggest the elongation of the exhalation. This always has value. And if you weren't here for the other days that I have done my seminar series, the reason that elongating the exhalation is calming is that every time you exhale, your major nerve of rest and digest, or we say parasympathetic response, the vagus coming out of here, slows down the rate of the heart. It's that simple. And I teach this technique over and over and over because it constantly offers us the opportunity to calm down. Now we can do it naturally, inhaling, and purposely elongating our exhalation, or we can use Ujjayi, or what we sometimes term ocean breath, in conjunction, which gives us more control over the exhalation. So if you would like to just inhale naturally and exhale long, without forcing, I invite you to do so. If you'd like to practice it with Ujjayi breathing, I will teach those of you new to it, or for those of you familiar with it, you can just do it now. And then we're going to add a second piece after we all become familiar with it. So Ujjayi breath if you're new. If you're not, just have your eyes downcast or closed and just inhale and then exhale Ujjayi, only on the exhale. So you're going to need more focus if you're used to doing it also on the inhale. It's going to really recruit that mental power. For those of you new to it, it sounds like this. And we have probably all made this noise when fogging up a mirror. So let's all do that together. Pick up your mirror, look at your beautiful faces. Inhale, and do it through your mouth first. You want that slow, controlled pressure, breath. One more time. Brilliant. And now, we're going to do it through our nose. But if we try to do it and we're new to it, we often force out a sniff. So instead, I want you to imagine that your nose is at your throat, right here, right here, right here. And you're going to inhale naturally and exhale through the nose and your throat, making that noise coming out of the throat. The mouth is closed. Inhale naturally, exhale this ocean sound. Slowly. We're going to do this for the next 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, and then I'll add the next technique. Inhale naturally, exhale Ujjayi, just lowering the heart rate, bringing down the anxiety as a result. It's simple. It's a simple way of calming the brain. And now we're going to add something. So when we're anxious, we don't feel grounded. We feel the opposite. We feel all over the place. Thoughts are looming. We cannot actually bring the energy downward. We feel overwhelmed. Grounding ourselves, a term we use a lot as a metaphor, is a way to help to soften that experience and to literally bring the energy down. And one of the things that I often teach is actually breathing up from the ground and breathing back to the ground. In yoga, this isn't just the imaginal. In yoga, breath, life force, or what is called in Sanskrit prana, can actually be derived from the earth, not just from inhaling. So this may be a concept that is imaginal to you, or this may be a real thing. Either way, I want you to start imagining that on your natural inhale, you are breathing from the ground up the legs into your lungs. And on the exhalation, you are breathing that ocean breath down the lungs, down the legs to the ground. So the exhale still takes longer. You have your eyes downcast or closed. And you breathe up naturally from the legs to the lungs. And long ocean breathing, so longer action as you breathe down the body, down the legs, into the ground. So there's an added benefit here, right? Just if we think psychologically, we are focusing the mind on doing something very specific. So if it wanted to start ruminating, if it got too used to the other kind of breathing, it has a second focus. And this focus directs the attention to a sense of connection with the ground. We're going to breathe like this for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to add another piece. So we're going to keep adding. You're just breathing up and down from ground, breathing up naturally, breathing longer breath as it travels back down to earth, using the ocean breathing if you like. It's simple. It's meant to be simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. It's only the mind that's complicated. The techniques are simple. Inhaling up, exhaling ocean breath back down the body into the earth. One more minute like this. One more minute of sharing breath with the earth, of grounding yourself in this way. One more minute. And we're going to add another part now. But just listen and keep breathing in this way as you listen. You don't have to open your eyes. You don't have to stop what you're doing. So one of the things that our body wants to do when we are anxious and frightened, it wants to run away. But we don't do that generally in daily life. It doesn't seem socially appropriate in most situations we would face unless we're truly in danger. And yet, biologically, that is what our body wants to do. So what if we gave energy to that without anybody seeing? What if we activated the legs and the glutes through our breathing or with our breathing so that some of that impulse got met? We can do that. So what we can do is as we inhale the breath up, our body, we can actively tighten the upper legs and the glutes. And as we exhale the breath back down with that ocean breathing, we can release that holding. I want you to keep doing this. Inhaling up, tightening. Exhaling ocean, Ujjayi breath back to the ground and loosening. It becomes a lot to focus on, but that's useful. And tightening and releasing muscles is part of progressive muscle relaxation. It actually releases held tension at a microbiological level. So we're going to keep doing that. The other value is it tires the muscles, and it's very hard to be anxious when we're exhausted. We're going to just do it 3 more times together. Breathing up from ground, tightening, breathing down, releasing that tightening. Breathing up, tightening, breathing down with ocean breath, releasing. One last time. Wonderful. Now, we can add this to yoga postures or any kind of postures in general. For example, we can stand up and do this. Like, let's say, I'll just move this a little bit further away so you can see me better. Open up. Let's say we're at a party and we feel socially anxious and we don't want anybody to know, and we're really trying to use self-regulation strategies to manage. We can have a micro bend in the knee. You can try this with me. I've done this in real life. I've taught this to many people. And you can feel the touch of your body on the ground. And you can inhale up from the ground through your legs, tighten the legs, and then exhale. Release the extra holding as you let the breath come down to earth. And you can straighten your legs. And then have a micro mini bend. Inhale, breathe up, tighten the legs. Exhale, ocean breath back down. Release the tightening of the bend. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, ocean breath back down. 1 more time. Inhale up. Exhale, ocean breath back down, releasing. And then there is when we're really anxious. When we wake up at night and we cannot calm down. And I know many people right now having sleepless nights. I've had a few myself, and as well over the years. And what I teach is using what we call a yoga chair pose. It looks like a chair, where we're already really activating the thighs and holding for 3 minutes, which is very intense. And what happens is, because we are applying so much attention to the feelings in our legs and simply wanting to exit the pose, we shift our brain circuitry, and suddenly we come out of that state of really heightened panic. So you can try it with me, or you can just keep breathing up and down from the ground. So what we do here is we bend the knees. You don't want to tilt too much in the pelvis. You want to protect your lower back. Have it tucked in. Lift the arms up overhead and soften at the shoulders. And your legs are already working really intensely here. But nonetheless, you breathe up and you tighten even more. And you exhale your ocean breath and you release that extra clenching. You inhale, you breathe up, you tighten. You exhale, you breathe down and release that clenching. Keep going. I'm going to talk to you at this time as you do this, or as you're on the ground. So years ago, I had really, really bad anxiety as a result of taking a quinine tablet in Tanzania to ward off malaria, and I had a bad reaction. And I was paranoid and slightly hallucinating, but I had already started doing yoga for quite a while, in fact. And I went out and I did this in the middle, really, not the jungle, but the safari, which I don't know if it was the greatest idea because there were all those large animals out there. But I did this and I held, even with this chemically induced anxiety, which was so intense, I was able to bring myself down. And over the years, I have taught many clients with exceptional levels of anxiety, panic, and trauma at a moment where they feel like they cannot bear another moment of fear, to hold this for 3 minutes, breathing up from the ground and tightening and exhaling back down. And what happens is you simply cannot hold and run that level of fear in this position because your brain is focusing on your breathing and the intensity of the pulse. Let's do 3 more breaths together. Let go of the tightening and releasing, and just breathe up from the ground and breathe back down. Breathing up and breathing back down. One more time. And release. Oh, if you did it, it was a lot of work. Make some rotations with your shoulders and go in the opposite direction. You like my little slippers? My feet were so cold today. I couldn't get the heating to work and it was cold inside. Okay. And we're gonna come to sit down again. And for the next few minutes, we're going to breathe up and down from the ground. Again, we're going to focus on that. And then I'm going to guide you through a short meditation. So continuing without tightening and releasing the thighs, to so gently inhale up from the ground. Exhale back down your ocean breathing to the ground. Inhale up. Exhale your ocean breathing back down. Just this. And now let go of the controlled exhale. And just breathe up and down from the ground. Just sense that process, that connection between yourself and earth. As you feel the natural flow of breath moving through your body. As you bring your mind to the here and now. Away from all the things you think you need to do. All the things you believe you need to solve. All the aspects of yourself you want to change or fix. And allow yourself to just be with breath. Especially after doing something physically rigorous like holding that chair pose. Just being with breath. Allowing your mind to rest and reside on it. Trusting that there is wisdom in silence. And that all the many things you think you must do, or change or fix, can wait. But they will be better served if you cultivate clarity, the ability to be calm, the ability to come out of stressful, anxious states, and have a bird's eye view of really what's happening. Anxiety often operates by telling us we have to fix the future or the future won't be okay. But we don't know that to be true. And if we always worry about fixing the future, we're creating a future of fear. The seed of the mind in this moment will be what we sow in the next. My meditation teacher used to say that. And I think he was right. So sow the seed of just being present, of bringing mind to breath. There is a place inside of all of us where no matter what is happening, we can find calm. But we must cultivate the mind to have that. Keep coming back to the breath. Feel the breath flowing up and down through the body. And now tell yourself, I will continue to stay aware of my breath, to pull my mind, my anxious mind, back to the breath as often as I can. There will be many moments where I will not succeed, but every time I do, I'm slowly chipping away at that fear-based pattern of thinking. And you can use this technique a few times a day to help set the physiological ground for calming the mind. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take questions. Just a few things. So remember, everybody, if you don't know, that you can log into loads of free sessions on HealthFlix. You can do that at healthflix.online for world leaders in mind, body, science, and medicine. And we have probably by the end of the week more than 100 videos for you, but you can also watch them live and interact. with the speakers. I think I'm going to try and do another session on Thursday night for those of you interested. And of course, we have the Minded Institute running short courses for those of you that are health or yoga professionals. This week, we still have a few spaces for the one on breathing techniques and breath assessment methods to work with individual clients. And next week, we have a whole bunch of stuff, rewiring the anxious brain, anxiety skills for yoga professionals, etc. So you can look on the website, or you can keep doing these free things with us. But no matter what you do, now is the time to really engage in self-care. The NHS is completely overridden as a result of COVID-19. And so as part of our support to the NHS, we have to be taking better care of ourselves, because unfortunately, the health system can no longer manage long-term conditions in the way it was doing, even though it was breaking at the seams in that regard. So please engage in these techniques or anything else you do to still your mind and body and to keep it healthy. That is one of the ways we are all individually supporting the NHS, or what, if you're not in the UK, whatever health system that is part of your nation. Now, if you have a question, you can raise your hand through the feature that lets you do so on Manage Participant or just Participant. It lets you put up your little blue hand. And if you don't know how to do that, you can take yourself off mute. Otherwise, under Participant, where you toggle over it on the bottom of the screen, you click it and we'll give you an option to raise your hand. If there are no questions, then I will bid you farewell, but I have a feeling that's not the case. Otherwise, you wouldn't still be here. Are there questions? Okay, Julie Keebler, you're first. Can you take yourself off mute? Julie? I can't unmute you because you've muted yourself. So you're gonna have to do it if you wanna come off. All right, I'll come back to you. Helen Ridgington. Hello? Okay, David Oldham, would you like to ask a question?
Hi, Heather. Can't hear you. What was that? Sorry.
Who's speaking? Oh, Julie, you managed to unmute. Go ahead.
I'm just curious as to why, when you work with Ujjayi, you just do a natural breath and just work with Ujjayi on the exhale.
That's not always what I do. It's just what I'm doing here.
Right.
It's easier for people who are new. There is a tendency to pull in the breath, which activates pressure receptors in the brain and in the sinuses that can cause tension. But also for us who are automated to do Ujjayi breath in the inhale and exhale, it takes us out of that aspect of mind, and it really requires our attention and concentration, which we need when we are anxious. So there is added value, but definitely there is value on doing practicing Ujjayi breath also on the inhalation. But that's why I'm choosing to do it this way tonight.
Okay, yeah, I've listened to the strengthening the lungs webinars that you've done, and you worked in the same way. So I was curious as to, if that was something that you preferred.
Actually, in strengthening the lungs, though, I gave people the option of doing it on the inhalation if they wanted to. But for newbies, I never teach it that way because they have a tendency to pull in the breath, and I want to avoid that. I want them to strengthen the laryngeal muscles first so that by the time they do the inhalation, it's easier for them.
Okay. All right, lovely. Thank you.
My pleasure. Helen Ridgington, you're next.
Hi, Heather.
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Kind of. You're a little bit...
I wanted to ask about the...
Helen,
Sorry?
You wanted to ask about what?
Yes, the thing you recommended at the beginning, COVID, the breathing practice, lying prone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, what did you want to ask about it? Because you're connected.
Is that okay to do if some...
Do you want to write your question, Helen? Because unfortunately, your connection's not very good and I keep losing part of it. But if you write it in the chat,
Okay.
it would be easier for me.
Yeah.
Now, David,
I'll do that.
I don't know if you wanted to ask a question or you just are incidentally on mute. Did you want to? Oh, or not on mute. You did not want to. Okay. Anyone else? Or shall I let you go along with your evenings? Oh, Anna Kimmel, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah. Hi there. I was just wondering if you could write in the chat the website that you recommended with videos.
Oh, for the HealthFlix channel? Yeah, sure. So
Yeah.
there's loads of great talks. We've already had loads of great talks. So you can do that. Okay, Helen, I'm looking for your question, but it hasn't come up yet. Mary Rose, you have a question? Nice to see you, by the way. Do you want to unmute yourself, Mary Rose?
Hi, Heather. Hi. Have you done a talk? I know you said you were thinking about it, or you was going to ask someone to do it about the asthma, because it seems to be coming up quite a lot.
The asthma won't be in this series, but the asthma is going to be, Richard Brown is doing it. I think that might even be tomorrow. I think he might be on tomorrow at 12 o'clock UK time. So I asked him,
have a look.
a physician and a breath expert. Yeah, so I have time.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Thank you. The prone breathing, is that okay to do the asthma as well?
Is what?
You know the prone breathing where you're laying on your stomach? Is that okay to use as well?
I don't want to comment on the value of that for asthma because I don't know. That is something specific being used in COPD, and it is new for me, and I've been in touch with a lot of pulmonary experts, but I haven't been talking to them about asthma, so I wouldn't be comfortable making a statement. Is it my connection that's bad, or is it everybody else's? Maybe it's mine.
Yeah.
Yours.
Sure.
Always yours.
I saw the video today, Heather, from the doctor.
You saw the video from the doctor?
Yeah, in the ICU unit, the breathing they've been using, the breaths. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, about my internet. Oh, can you do the prone breathing for COVID at any stage when fighting the virus and have symptoms if you manage it? According to the physicians that I spoke to, yes, you can do it at any stage. So that shouldn't be a problem. And they are doing it at hospital, by the way. So what time on Thursday? I was thinking the same time. What do you guys think? Is that going to work? Having it 7, or do you prefer it in the morning at 8 o'clock?
Evening.
The evening? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Morning for me.
It's me.
No, 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 no.
I'm having my first.
I like the morning.
I do. I'm sat on a cushion at the time.
I'll mix it up morning.
The internet actually starts to slow down from 7 p.m.
I'm really sorry, everybody, about my internet. I have a booster and everything, and it's been great. But unfortunately, I can't control it. I think it's just going this week. Internet can be better in the AM. That would be nice. Anyway, everybody, because the connection isn't brilliant anymore, I think I'll let everybody go. Oh, Michael, do you want to ask a question? Michael, hi. Michael, are you here? Michael Daniels? No? Michael?
Lovely. There we go. Yeah, it's a quick question about the prone breathing again. I remember when you were describing. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I can't see you, Michael, but I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll just continue anyway. When you were describing the 3-part breath, you recommended raising an arm above the head because that would make it more effective. I'm wondering whether with the prone breath, where the arms should be, whether they should be by the side on the floor or possibly raising them up to the floor above the head would make them even more effective.
I think that it won't matter with the prone breathing because the focus is bringing it into the lungs within the interior of the body. But I'm very interested in the value of lifting up the arm and doing the Durga breathing as a way to further recruit the alveolus. And it's something I brought up today in communication with some physicians. But their responses were that they didn't yet have evidence or research and that it was a very interesting query. So it's something that would need to be tested. I'm not sure I would want it to be tested on COVID patients, but what we need to determine is when we do this technique, specifically with lifting up the arm, where you are pushing the air and increasing the pressure on one lung more than the other, if there is a value of actually recruiting more of the alveoli and in that process, opening the air sacs when often they become distended in these health issues. So it's a wonderful question and it's one I have in my own mind, but nobody seems to know the answer yet.
Okay, lovely. There's no harm in doing so anyway, so may as well continue, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Lovely. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. I think my internet returned to normal. Yes. Okay. Hazel B, do you have a question? Hazel? Hazel, I've unmuted. Oh, you remuted you because I unmuted you. Do you want to unmute yourself again, Hazel? We both did it at the same time.
I typed it in there just in case the internet was going. My internet was poor.
So what I said in the beginning, you can watch it on YouTube. It'll be up there tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it's about time. And I just thought, I've had in my mind all day the song Let It Be. And if you know me well, you know that I love to sing. And I just thought it's a really, really challenging time for all of us. So it might be nice to just end this evening with a little bit of singing, if that's not too weird for you. I know that if we all do it together, we'll have lots of reverb. So we can sing together, but in silence. Yeah, so I will put myself, well, I'll put you guys on mute, and if you want to join me a little bit to just sing Let It Be, you can. And if you want to just fade away in the process, that's fine too. I don't know all the words, so I'll just sing the parts that I know. You can join me. I used to be a singer, so I love to sing. Something also great for your lungs, by the way. So, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, singing words of wisdom, let it be. And though there may be heartache, there is still a chance that they will see. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. 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 There will be an answer, let it be. I don't know if you heard me or if I've been frozen for that, but have a brilliant evening and I send all of you much love. Namaste. Is that better, by the way? No.
Lovely singing.
Could you hear me or did it just break? Or were you able to hear?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. You can sing with me if you want. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Let it be.
Bye, everybody. Good night. Thanks for the patience with my internet. Go well. Oh, hey, Michelle.